Kerrod here back at Joondalup Resort, and today we're going to be using this red stick here to identify where your hips are at the top of your swing, your transition, and this is to help those of you who tend to keep your hips back through impact, spin out on that back foot. Let's get into it. Now, using various tools for feedback is a great way to improve the quality of your motion. And today I've just got a red stick out in front of us, and this would be representative if you would set up a mirror in front of you, and you could also place a masking tape strip or something similar down the middle of that mirror, so you've got this as a reference as you can look at yourself. But using this tool here today, what I'm going to show you is what we generally tend to see with the best ball strikers in the world versus the amateurs. So in the address position, if I was to set up, and let's just say that this red stick here is almost through the center line of my body or the center line of my pelvis, generally what we would see with the recreational golfers is as the golf club is approaching the ball, their hips would be too far back and behind this reference line here. As that happens, because the majority of their mass and their pressure is too far back, they would tend to hit too much back behind the golf ball, and then you would commonly see a follow through that looks like this. Hips back, chest down, head forward, and in this position here, it's not conducive to creating much speed, and you'll tend to have more of an out to in motion, thinning, topping, slicing the golf ball. So with the best golfers in the world, what we tend to see as their golf club is approaching the top of the swing, there would be a recentering of the hips and a drifting or a sway towards the target. Now, sway generally carries a negative connotation in the golf swing. However, in instances like this, having the hips sway towards the target is actually an incredibly powerful and beneficial thing to perform within your golf swing. So if we're having some practice swings, and you can set this up in front of you, set up a little bit of a mirror with some masking tape, and as this golf club's moving back, you can watch yourself in the mirror and really feel that your hips are rotating in a circle and then drifting towards the target as you reach near the top of the swing. So if I was doing this in slow motion through stages, I would be turning, I would be turning, I would be turning. I would then in the transition have this move where the pelvis is then shifting more towards the target and then follow through. Now, the effect that this has is as my pelvis is shifting towards the target, my upper body is going along for the ride, and I'm shifting and placing more pressure down onto this lead foot. This is going to help me get my body into a position where I'm able to compress the golf ball a little bit better, but then also continue that momentum and that feeling so I can get through onto that front foot. So once again, for those of you who are getting stuck on your back foot, there's a very, very high chance that as you get to the top, your hips are actually doing the opposite and shifting too far back and behind this line. So let's hit some shots and let's see what this looks like. Setting up to the golf ball, as I get to the top of the swing, I'm feeling that my hips are not only rotating in a circle, but as I get to the top, they're actually pushing and drifting towards the target. Let's hit a slow shot. So that one there, I can see that my weight is a lot more forward, my hips are forward, my chest is back, and this is much more conducive to what you would see with better players. So once I've done a couple of slow swings like that and I can generate a feel for what I'm trying to achieve here, I can then begin to pick up the speed. So practice swing, feeling like the hips are turning in a circle, drifting towards the target and following through. So with a bit of greater speed, now we can see that the golf ball was situated in a position which was relatively in line with this stick, and the bottom of the swing, or where the golf club was gliding through that grass, was in front of the golf ball. And this is what would be demonstrated by the best ball strikers in the world. Most recreational golfers, once again, would tend to have their hips too far behind this line, and then that is where the golf club would ground out. So as you can see, there's a correlation between where the mass of your body is and also the bottom of the golf swing. Using a little simple tool in an exercise or a drill such as this is a great way to identify where you as an individual are placing your hips at the top of your swing and how your hips are moving in transition, and then how that can directly relate and affect then the follow-on of your golf swing. So try this drill out. What I would recommend is do it at home in front of a mirror. Put some tape down the center of that mirror so you can see yourself. You've got your reflection. Use it as a reference point so then you can go and practice it as much as you can. I would say do this as a dry drill, meaning you're not actually hitting golf balls when you're doing so. This is a great way to get the feeling without getting too caught up in the outcome. The more you do it, you can come through, you can brush the carpet or something similar if you've got something in front of you, and then that's going to give you a great feeling for those hips moving in the correct fashion, turning, drifting, and then following through, especially for those of you who tend to struggle getting stuck on that back foot. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe, comment below if you try this drill out and it helps you indeed. I'd love to hear it. But until next time, I'm Kerrod Gray. Thanks for watching.